Okay, for anyone who is new to Discord critiques, I'm just going to give a quick little rundown here. We have a channel in the Discord right here, Stream Critiques. It's postable when the stream goes live for Discord critiques. And if it gets posted in here, we try and get to it before the 2 hours are up. So there may be a chance that we miss you, but we're going to try. We're going to try. So let's, we're going to move to Photoshop here, mainly so I can control what imagery we're posting. Well, it's the second screen here. Just going to bring this down here. Let's do that. All right. First up, any crit would be welcome, but mostly concerned with composition, lighting, and storytelling. Okay, so it's a little bit of storytelling going on here. Some technical stuff broken down as well on like how this is put together. Oh, this attention to detail is really nice with the all these little. Dang, what? That's awesome. It's pretty evenly distributed, but I've seen one of those before, and I've seen a poll like this where there is literally, it's like that ridiculous. And it's nice you got the little pieces of paper that are left over as well. That's really good. That's interesting with the blinking on there. And I don't think I've ever seen that unless it's near like a school property. So some of the things I would mention are things like this sign. Right now, I would say the sign is too small. It also looks like it's possibly being blown out. So if I copy this and we'll just bring it into Photoshop, let's just paste that and we'll just make the background. I don't know what color we'll make this. So we'll just make the background maybe like, let's go yellow. And then if you double click this layer, we get this. Let's grab this edge here, and you can see where like your pixels are too dark. There's no information in them. They'll blow out or they'll clip out, and then you'll see the background color. And where I'm seeing it is, I think, is in the white range here. That's not too bad. There's information there. That's good. It just looks really bright. Maybe it's my screen. This sign feels really small though, and I would suggest actually looking at how the crosswalk line or the crosswalk paint, this stuff here, looking at this area and seeing in reference how in real life how they tend to cut that off. Because I think more often than not they're gonna just cut it. They won't put this one here and they'll just cut it. They'll just cut it straight like this. But I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe we're looking at reference. So storytelling wise, this sign got knocked off of here, right? But what's that Special Cyan Dynasty channel? What are you talking about? We don't talk about that one. So where this is at, this guy, and where this is connected, there's a disconnect. So when it comes to storytelling, you want to make sure that the connection between these two is really clear. Because the only reason you see that is because of the contrast of it. And I would argue that the next thing people are going to ask is, how come, like how? Did this sign come from that, or is it coming from another one that's off screen? So watch out for stuff like that. Other than that, I think there's not a whole lot of storytelling. It's just that. And when you're doing storytelling, you're gonna want. Oh, wait a minute. We got some tire marks going on here. So right now, the way these are connected doesn't really make any sense, and especially the scale is very strange. It might be worth having either some glass or some paint scrapes as well, maybe along this edge. The other thing to think about is with a sidewalk, you usually have like this area here will be lower for wheelchairs and strollers and whatnot. And depending on where you're at, what part of the city you're in, or like country, it'll be painted as well, depending on like where all that information ends. And then maybe this would dip down and then come back up. Usually where that dips as well, you'll have like a little metal or plastic type material that lets people know that they're about to walk into the road when they're going down that edge. But yeah, so it's more about like making sense of where things are at, adding more logic to things, and especially the storytelling. What's up, handyman? How you doing? There are some nice details in here, like the little, there's some cigarette butts here. The cracks are a little extreme feeling or forced, and as well with like this dipping down, right? And maybe it goes like that or whatever. You're going to want to understand how this edge, like usually the sidewalk will have an edge here, right? And then it'll become the sidewalk. Like you'll have an edge to it, and then they pour it inside of this piece, right? And we're getting real close to phallic shapes, real close. And then look at your roughness for the road. Maybe that's a little extreme, but it's all about scale and making sense of the storytelling. I've seen this before. It's usually not a manhole or a sewer drain. It's usually like access to power or anything like that. Power cables, power lines, if they're underground. Usually you're going to have the manhole will be here, right? But yeah, that is that. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me just scroll through this a little bit. I really appreciate that you're covering some of the thought process behind how you did this stuff. And it's just more about going a little bit further than what you have done with the modeling. Highlighting that edge and understanding the scale and the logic behind like all of the details that are present. You're on your PS5, dude. Nice. You playing on PC or console? What are you guys talking about? Oh, you're talking about 2077. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. Composition, lighting, storytelling. I think I hit all those points. Let's look at Ben Hand. Would love some general feedback and thoughts. Thanks. Oh yes, I remember seeing this in the Discord. I actually, so while you have the slow zoom happening, and what is going on over here? There's something happening over there. So that's a little distracting. This shot's also a tad dark. I really like this first shot though, and the consistency of the shots just zooming in and switching to different angles. This angle, I like that. The angle here and the angle here feel very similar. So it almost feels like you're showing me a shot without the arch. So you might want to like either flip the camera or like show it from a bit more of an extreme angle. I really like these lanterns on the side here. That's super cool. Let's copy this and bring it into Photoshop really fast here. Oh. Let's look at the levels. So right now your levels are pretty, they're mid and dark range, or mid and low range. And you want to make sure that you have some of the full range of it, right? Maybe not too crazy, but You don't want to lose too much information in there. Something's going to be bright, right? Your fog is also maybe not colored. Polygon says, I think exposure could be pushed up a little, maybe with some more warmth from the orange. Yeah. Yeah, I think right now it's very like the warm lights are not really affecting the rest of the scene, right? So like if we, let's, let me see here. Let me just destroy this with this yellow line. I'm going to just paste this here, and I'm going to try and color match it a little bit. I'm just going to colorize and turn saturation up. This color tends to not travel too far. So let's say that's pretty close. Then we'll just go in and mask it, invert that, and start. Basically, like this lantern needs to be really kind of hitting everything, right? Let me just see if we can't softly do that. Because you really want those colors to be happening kind of everywhere around the lights. Or even just kind of adding that bit of glow. This is not really doing what I want it to do. Let's see though. Because there's a lot of opportunity there for highlights to be happening. For example, on the side of this tree, right, where maybe the tree's not that close, so it's not happening naturally. But getting a highlight there would be really nice. So those types of details with the lighting is going to be really important because you can get that stuff happening. I'm just going to crudely doodle this stuff in just so that you get the idea behind it. It's not going to be like amazing or anything. But you get I think you get the idea with that. The other thing too is like with the highlights happening in here as well. Right? Now you start to see, oh yeah, this is much better than trying to fake it with the layer under the. I think this does a whole lot more. Because you get that warmth in there, that'll really help separate the scene out and get it a little bit further. As far as like separation and getting those details to come through. I wonder if I can. Yeah, screen's helping a little bit, but you can see like how much that's going to do for you, and just kind of getting that atmosphere to pop even a little bit further. It could get kind of extreme, so you got to be careful with it, of course. But I think it could do a lot for just kind of amping the scene up a little bit more. And then everything's very. Let me just look at your saturation. See, I think if you're pushing the colors a little bit further, then you really start to see the warmer colors in the wood, and then also you get a bit more of a blue in the atmosphere. So that could be really nice. I do like the fog though that's happening. If you could get the fog to have more of a gradient, man, that would do wonders. I think. I wonder if I can. Fake that. I don't know if I can fake that. We'll see. No, I don't think so, because it's quite an extreme. But it's like it's bringing the focus more to kind of like what you're doing down here with the dark. It brings the focus more to what's happening in front of you versus like behind the shape. But I think you get the point. Debatable. I do like it though. It does get a little too dark in here. This is maybe an opportunity to have a lantern that can add some little highlight edges on some of the shapes. But overall, pretty strong piece. Really like the shot. This one's really cool as well. Maybe a little clean. There's a little bit of aging in there that could be nice. And again, the shot, like I'm seeing it on my top monitor and it looks pretty good value-wise, but down on my other screen, it's looking pretty dark. Let me see. We spent a lot of time on this one already, but I want to just kind of check some stuff. Yeah, you can see you're almost using no range at all. Oh, see, I didn't even realize there's like that stuff there. So this one's just a matter of consistency with the brightness of the other scenes, right? Like before that, you can see how dark it was. It's a little intense now with the glow here and whatnot, but yeah. Really cool though. Nice job. Toby, was it Toby Kubi? Some feedback would be appreciated. I mean, this looks pretty nice to me. Let's get in here and take a closer look. Passion project alongside commissions. It's several design iterations, and I was unsure if I should upload it, but here we go. I mean, this looks pretty nice. Texturally, it's pretty. The surface here is pretty detailed. You might want to watch out for like how detailed that is. Oh, that's interesting. So I'm moving my mouse around with the pen, but you guys don't see that. But if I move it with the mouse, you see it. Interesting. Yeah, so the dragon details around the, was it the hilt? Look really nice, and the surface breakup here is really nice as well. I'm not sure, is this supposed to be showing the layers of the steel that's been, yeah, that's definitely, I forget what that material is called. Someone in chat will drop it like it's hot real quick here in a second. Oh, that looks super nice though. The edge here that you got going is quite impressive as well. Damascus steel, thank you. Now the weave feels very finite, like it feels smaller maybe than it's supposed to. Or maybe it's woven like that tiny and I've never known that before. Yeah, what is this? Is that a render? What is this? Because that looks quite real. Yeah, it's a technique for creating layers in the metal. Yeah, it's where you're pressing it on top of it. That's the render, dude. Super nice, man. I mean, it looks really good. I would say be really careful with adding too much detail in the surfaces through normal maps. Like all this, or height maps, I guess, in Substance Painter. To get all this little micro detail, it's good to have some pitting in the metal to kind of show that aging. But try and keep that more to the albedo and roughness, depending on like what type of damage or aging that is. This material looks pretty awesome. I would imagine if you want this to be really accurate, the normal direction of these lines needs to be going in different directions, right? Marma said for ray tracing? Really? That's this? That's freaking spicy. I love it. This is like deadly salmon. That's what the vibe I get with this. So I think, like I was saying, with these types of details, I think it's, if you can hijack the normal direction of these bands and have them face a slightly different angle, you're going to get this much more natural, because that's what you're seeing, right? These bands are like a different angle of the metal. It's like a different way the light is hitting your eye. But yeah, I mean, this material looks pretty nice. It's just very, very aged. And in some cases, maybe a little too extreme. But that said, I think when you have all the maps in and it's the ray tracing is kicking in, you get all the reflections and ambient lighting happening inside of those details. These details actually melt away and they kind of soften anyways. Man, that's really, I gotta, oof. This looks great, man. Super nice. While I'm going through your guys' stuff, if you post in here, this is probably one of the better ways to get the community tag is when you post in here, I tend to just switch you to community because it's like you're committing to like sticking your neck out a little bit. You know what I mean? It's scary for people to post their work. I know what it feels like. So next up is Alex. He's like, I'm working with my model for portfolio right now. I try to improve my texturing skills. Here's an example. Oh, I need to check this link really fast. Oh yeah. No, we were looking at this before. Let's see here. Yeah, so there's some really nice details. I gave some feedback on this, and I'm not sure if this is because of that feedback. Let's see, and let's look at the asset where it's at currently. Did you end up, Alex? I don't know if you're in chat, but did you end up updating the Sketchfab file? Hey, no problem, Skyblivian. Shiro, what's up, man? Welcome. Either way, the asset looks really good, and it's more about fine tuning the details. So I'll load this model up. We'll look closely at it, and I'll show the stuff that I pointed out previously. And let's see if they're. I'm assuming they're not updated. Is this? Can I not? I can't. Okay. So this model looks pretty good. I like it. There's just some finite details that I wanted to kind of hit on. So when I move this light around, right, the text that was written in there, I had commented on like that would most likely that type of detail would be pushed through the roughness. Let's go to the model inspector and we can kind of break this down. This is one nice thing about using Sketchfab is if we want to like really kind of understand and debug what's going on in the materials, this is a great way to kind of like get a closer look. You'll see in the Discord when I do critiques just through like text and whatnot that I like to do a critique and check the individual maps. So like if we look at the base color, for example, you can see the text is in the base color, which that dust in general probably shouldn't be in there. If we go to the roughness, this is what you want to be seeing. Auntie, thanks a lot, man. Dude, 15 months. Thanks, dude. So this is where you want the text. You don't want it in the base color. Let's see if it's not in the normal. That's good. It's not in the AO. That's really good. It's in the emission. I guess it could be in the emission because the dust would be blocking it out more, right? Slimekey, how you doing? It's good to see you. So base color wise, I mean, there's a lot of dirtying and detail going on around this surface, but in here it's quite clean. It looks like it just hasn't had the pass that the other materials had. Let me see if the metalness, you did update this. So the metalness used to have gradients in here and those look to have been cleaned up. So that's really nice. The other thing I was going to mention is the ambient occlusion bake that you have going on here. Seems to be adding a value in areas where you're not really expecting it. So like this area here, right? This shouldn't be blocked too much by ambient for ambient occlusion, and yet it's a little bit darker. Like if we print screen this, we can grab it. Let's bring this into Photoshop, and we'll just look closely at this. So what I think you should be expecting, and there's just maybe delete half of it, and we'll just level this one. I would expect that area to be more white, and your ambient occlusion's more in these like core areas. Paul, buddy, thanks a lot, man. Gifting. Pulte Kid. What's up, man? Thanks a lot, Paul. You would expect the ambient occlusion to not really be happening here, right? And it's more about this little core area. Sure, there's going to be a little bit here because this is all starting to get quite tucked away in there. But keep that in mind for where your values are at, right? Because ambient occlusion, the moment this model is in the dark, this is like actually quite important. So if you've got, let's see here, actually, I want to simulate this if it's possible. Okay, I'm going to go to final render. No, not final render, base color. Oh man, I can't do it because I can't separate the buffers. But let's say this is your base color, right? Maybe I can fake it a little bit. I'm going to just paste this here. And then I'm going to grab the ambient occlusion. I'm going to grab this. I'm just going to kind of eyeball getting it on top of the... It's not going to be perfect. There we go. We'll work with that. We're going to go with a multiply. And so you can see your ambient occlusion on there, right? Now let's say this is in shadow. And I'm going to just make a new layer and we're going to eyedrop. What? Why? B. Gonna eyedrop here. No. Oh, I know why that's happening. There we go. Dude, come on. So I'm gonna do this. This color is with the ambient occlusion at the level that it's supposed to be, or that you've rendered it at. What is happening? That's super weird. Okay. Paul, you gave it to 5. Wait, what? You gave 1 gift sub. Education moment. Love it. So you can see the value of this, right? If I were to grayscale that, the value of this is dark. Now, if I go in and bring the levels more along the lines of where you expect the ambient occlusion to be, let's double check this really fast. Yeah, so yes. So then if I'm eyedropping in there, whoop, it's very subtle. But in more extreme cases, this is what if your ambient occlusion is not balanced, this is what's going to happen. Is from a distance, your model in shadow is actually going to be darker. So your ambient occlusion in PBR-based rendering shows up in the shadows, right? And if your model has a base ambient occlusion that's kind of bringing the entire value down, you're going to get some issues with your asset actually being darker than it's supposed to be. So keep that in mind. Yeah, hopefully that was clear enough. I'm never sure if the way I'm describing that is useful or not. But overall, the asset looks really good. You can see, like, in here, it gets quite dark. And I would argue that's too dark. I mean, maybe it's... Yeah. You go to the base color. If this is metal, let's see, metalness. No, it's not metal. Okay. That's like a rubber. So these are also quite... This one's okay. Maybe this is too dark. But your metals look like they're accurate with the color. Metals tend to be quite light in value in the base color. Anyways, super cool. Nice to see that you took on some of that feedback. This dust one, if you fix that, this is like top tier. It would be like, nice job. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, man. Kirill, how to improve everything. Oh. All right, let's see what's going on here. That's a great question about how do you get wrong AO though? Shouldn't the baker handle that by itself? So ambient occlusion of assets is going to vary based on the scale of the object, as well as like if the lighting is coming from above only. So if you have a plane under your object, and then the ambient occlusion is being calculated like, was it hemispherical? Then it's being lit from above, and all of your AO is going to be stronger on the underside. You want to make sure that you're getting your AO to be happening from all directions, right? I think to get it correct, you have to understand what ambient occlusion actually is versus like just hitting AO bake. This is really cool. Dang, look at this. The materials are almost real. There's some values going on here with this material that's making me wonder what it's made out of. It doesn't feel quite cloth-like. It's touching on it, but it's maybe more of like it's got a sheen to it, but it's not quite satin either. So watching out for that. Dude, this is awesome. You see this? Look at this guy. He totally wants that last drip of coffee. That's so cool. I mean, this looks awesome. That phone is like on point as well. I remember those phones. That gun has got some character. Dude, is that a handle, like a forward, like a front grip, but made with oh my God, that's amazing. Man, this gun has seen some stuff. So I think something that feels off is there's a lot of metal elements that are in here, right? But they're quite aged. They're quite tarnished or dirty or rusted. But the binoculars are super clean. They're super clean. So you're getting this shiny effect here, whereas everything else is pretty muted. But everything else looks pretty muted in a quite a realistic way. So it's more about like I guess understanding why this is sticking out versus the rest. The size of the cigarette butts, I think, might be slightly too small. Man, this metal tin thing for the cigarette butts is awesome. I really like that phone. It feels right. They stole it more recently. I mean, yeah, I get that. I get that. But the details in the scene are quite nice. I think if there was a way to make it look like the table had got water on it and then had dried, right? So you get like a little bit of a pooling effect. Let me see if I can get a good angle on that. Get a little bit of a pooling effect that's dried on the surface. I think that would be pretty. Dried salt spots would be nice. Yeah. You don't want to go too far with the details because the table is working as like a nice area of rest for the ice. But this is pretty nice. This is pretty nice. Man, that gun is old. Definitely seeing the salt side of things these days. This area is very blank in the back. I feel like something's supposed to be there, but isn't. It's also a very delicate situation, right? You got to be careful about what you place there. It's really cool, though. That material is really nice as well. What is this? Unreal? No, really? Is this Marmoset? Marmoset renders? Are there any burnt matches in the cup? UE4. Dang, dude. I can't tell on the in there. There's some close-ups like, yeah, yeah. It would be nice to have some matches in there. People usually flick that, right? Super nice though. Well done. Maybe the detail that's on here could be the strength could be lowered a little bit just so it doesn't like hit you in the face so hard. Nicely done though. Oh, we got Laura. Any feedback would be great. I did all the VFX and lighting. Yo, let's check it out. Hey, straight up, if you want to do VFX, you should do it. I keep noticing that that's like a role that is very, hi Laura, is very lacking. Like there's just not enough VFX artists or effects artists in games. There always seems to be someone. Wait, what should you improve? Wait, really? For this one? I mean, everything looks pretty good. It was more about the balance of the binoculars. I've suggested lowering the strength on this. You could add some matches in here, some burnt matches. Maybe a match or two over here. I don't know. I suggested maybe a little bit of dried water damage on the table, but I also was saying that you got to be careful with, oh, dude, there's a crack in the plastic too. Dude, be careful with doing too much on the table just because the table is like a nice area of rest for the eyes. So I think this cloth could be adjusted a little bit to maybe diffuse the lighting a little bit further so it doesn't feel so satiny. IKEA white plastic garden chairs. Yo. There it is. You said it. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful for you. Okay, so we got butterfly particles. So with butterflies, right now you have them kind of spawning and doing the same swirl. Butterflies are going to be pretty random. So maybe add a little bit of random into the direction that they go. Maybe they'll end up like fluttering off instead of, because you see the same path happening, right? This smoke looks pretty good. It might be a little too thick. Looking at references for like the color of smoke and or how dense it is after maybe putting a fire out, depending on how long ago this fire was put out, it might be more of like little tiny wisps instead of like just pluming. I mean, this is pretty small pluming, but yeah. Let's see what the other. This leaf falling stuff is really nice. You want to take this over the top? You want to go crazy with this? Well, those leaves are falling. See if you can find a way to get the leaf to fall, hit the water, and then travel the direction of the water. Or do that with a separate particle. That way our mind associates the particle falling, touching water, and then moving along the direction of the water. The lighting looks really good. I mean, I don't have too much to add on that. The whoever authored the foliage should be looking at transmission a little bit more, because your lighting is like not passing through the leaves as much as you would expect it to be. It's Houdini to Cascade pipeline for the smoke. Oh, interesting. Man, I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I've never done that ever. That's cool that you're looking into. So FX combination of Houdini to real time that's good. It's good. Could you, Laura, could you DM me on Discord with that? Like that workflow? I need to further understand. I don't have too much to add on it, though. The particles look pretty good. It's just about adding that extra layer of logic to it, like the leaves in the water, like I was suggesting. And then the butterflies not really following the same path and maybe like flurrying off. Man, even having one that like lands would be, oh, it's it would help the effect, or having one that's on a leaf already that's just kind of moving its wings, you know? Super nice. Side effects, what's up? How you doing? All right, let's get to we got George M. I like your profile picture. Let's see what's going on here. Day and night lighting scene I created at uni. So you built the, let's see here. Over the last 6 weeks, I've been developing my lighting skills by creating these lighting scenarios, a day and night scene, as part of my final year on my BA degree at Escape Studios. I found working on this to be challenging. However, thanks to the support I had at uni, I learned new techniques to overcome the challenges I faced. I downloaded the scene from the Unreal Store, nice, called, oh, nice, crediting as well, that's great. My task was to create 2 lighting scenarios or lighting scenes in a pre-existing environment. All right, let's check it out. Maybe I can do, there we go. I'm just like hanging out in the in the video. Hey guys, just hang out in this lighting scene. So that flag looks a little broken. And you can't hear it, but I'm listening to music right now, and there's an air raid siren going off with that video playing. So the flag looks a little janky. I would probably address that, or even just stop it from moving a little bit. A quick word from our sponsors type of thing. Emmanuel, how you doing? So the lighting here feels pretty nice, especially in this shot here. This actually looks a lot like the Warlords of New York trailer. We'll look it up later. Ooh, this is nice. Oh, that's super cool, the breakdown. Okay, so City Night sequencer. Let's see what's going on here. The bleed of that light looks really good from the emissive, the neon. Yeah, that I'm curious why these lights are here. They feel like they're not really affecting the environment all that much. I see it a little bit, but they're really subtle. The flag looks like it's better here. It's moving a little bit more predictably. So the nighttime shot is interesting because like I want to say that it's not really a nighttime shot other than it's at night, right? It's not showing like the ambient lighting that you get from nighttime, but it's more along the lines of you showing the use of emissive lighting to light a nighttime scene. Not a bad thing. Oh. Oh. Okay. Some of these lights being off actually makes this feel much more random than it actually is. Seeing the lights in place with not all of them broken actually made it much easier to understand what was going on here. Do you see that? This actually looks stronger than when you did a pass to break some of them. Because now it's got like a design to it. And you're getting this like nice lighting down here. See, that just goes away. I actually prefer this. Oh, hang on here. I prefer this to the broken version. And I think maybe if this sign was on this side, facing this way, you probably get a better like end result compositionally. Let's see. I'm just gonna sneakily grab this. Yeah, see how that frames it? It kind of makes everything face towards the center here. Yeah, the night sky's more visible in this one as well. Yeah, it just feels more accurate, I think, versus like when you tried to kind of disable and make it look a little bit more rundown. But pretty cool. Pretty cool. You got some golden hour stuff going on here. If you haven't, look at the Warlords of New York intro trailer, or is it launch trailer? Because they have a very similar kind of tone. Here, I'll find it. I don't. What? I can't find it. Maybe it's a teaser. It is a teaser. Okay. No, I cannot find it. I'm not gonna burn any more time looking. But yes, look that trailer up. Manuel, if you would like to get some critique, there's a Discord in that URL there. Yeah, it's got Walking Dead vibes for sure, Paul. Danny Haynes. Here's my work in progress. Set 1920s to 30s shop. Any feedback would be great. Thanks. I'm currently adding wear to my textures. All right, let's open this up. Bring it down here. We'll get this other one in here. Okay. So this is looking pretty good. It feels a little empty right now. Paying attention to the scale of things is going to be really important. These jars right now feel like they're not really being affected by the lighting. I don't know if it's how you've set these jars up, or maybe if it's like a Fresnel that's in the emissive or something. Right now, they're just feeling like they're not really taking on the. I don't know. It's weird because the glass here looks all right. I think there's a really intense looking register there that we're not seeing too much of right now. But watching out for sharp edges here. Let's copy this and we'll bring it into here. So we zoom in on this. Let's what color can we use? Maybe blue will come out the most. Yes. So watching out for these edges here and making sure they're not too sharp. You can just add like a little bevel on there. The line here and how it connects to the floor, it's going to be really important how you decide to solve that edge. I know that, oops, you have like this part's coming forward and then it goes back and then it goes forward like this. I think pushing these out a little bit further will help you get that breakup even more. Like I think if we're to see right now, it's something like that. But I think if you were to go even more extreme, that would help you with that breakup, right? Of course, I'm drawing like I'm perceiving. There we go. So if you can get that breakup, that's going to help a lot for this straight line, right? And don't be afraid to add any value shift on the bottom edge here of the wood, just to like, you see how it makes the bottom edge of the frame a little bit more natural looking. just by not being so razor sharp or laser sharp. We call what we call these in productions is laser lines. So you're gonna want to watch out for those. Laser lines are the things that make your brain go, oh, this is geometry. So if that line is not as straight as it is currently, that's gonna fix a lot of those issues. Same with here, you can totally bevel these just to try and get some breakup or change on that. Let me see what else we can poke at. Be careful with how white this material is, just with it being physically based or PBR. And when you want to make the glass dirty, don't do it in the albedo. Make sure to do it in the roughness. Unless it's real, like caked on and you're not seeing through it, then you can start putting information in the albedo. Only other thing I would say is maybe like you need like a mat that's on the ground for like where someone stands to get help. Maybe there should be signs somewhere that say what you can buy or what is this? What are these things? Maybe little tags here. Think about the layer of detail that explained it's like what do you call it? The signage pass. It's basically like a little thing that says they're open or this is the front desk, and then little signs for what's in the little glass case here and where you go to stand to get help, and like what is this section and what is this section and what's being sold here. Chat was mentioning, was it Exile stairs looking not wide enough? So I think it's that frame, right? Yes, they're pretty narrow. Go online as well and check the metrics for stairs. That'll probably help you. Those look like they're all right. It's just really narrow. And if you want that edge to be more visible, you just have to make sure to put some dirtying or darkening under there just to kind of like emphasize that. Just don't go too crazy with it though. You don't want it to look manufactured in that sense. Some sort of desk lamp would be cool. Yeah, I think that would be really good. Right now, there's not really any logic for where. I mean, we have this up here and this highlight here, which I assume is coming from this guy. You're gonna want to have your light sources kind of figured out before you continue forward with the aging and dirty pass. 22 centimeters by 22 centimeters for stair steps. Thanks, Laura. Nice. Yeah, there's anything, because I feel like while you're doing the dirty pass on your textures and kind of aging everything a little bit, I feel like you're actually not done getting the amount of assets that need to be in here. What is on the counters, where the lights are, what the lights are. Those details are super important. The floor does look laminated, like a laminate versus like what you would experience in the actual time period. So pay attention to that. Ida Cap in chat pointed that out. So just so you know, planks maybe. Yeah, and I mean, it can be the same line work here, right? With the way the panel lines are, but you're gonna want to make sure that the material that's on it and the grain and the colors is matching the time period, because it does look like laminate right now. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. 1920s, 1930s. Emily, any feedback would be appreciated. Worked most on composition and presentation, so any additional thoughts would be nice too. Let's check it out. Nice. Okay, so the things I like are the foliage around it. Let me see. A small project worked on in spare time, modeled the axe and sculpted the tree stump in ZBrush using alphas. Both are textured in Substance Painter, foliage, and ground materials or mega scans. So This is a good use of mega scans if the focus was to do just the axe and the tree stump, right? Then you're narrowing your focus. Hey, no problem, Outlaw. Then you're narrowing your focus to just working on your ZBrushing skills, organics with the tree stump, and then modeling and material work for both the tree stump and the axe, right? So that's really cool. It's great as well that you mentioned it here. Foliage and the ground materials are mega scans, as I didn't want to spend too much time creating foliage. Yeah, see, exactly. That is exactly when you would want to use mega scans, when that's not your focus, when you want to focus on these things. So from the top view, this looks pretty good. I think this edge here for the stump is where it starts to feel a little strange. I think mainly see how it gets a little darker on the edge there? It feels odd to me. And depending how this was chopped down, like this looks like it was sawed down and then sanded, and then you have an axe here. I think looking at how a tree stump looks after it's been chopped down with an axe, the old school way, will really tell you like how this base should look, right? Because I imagine one side gets worked on quite a bit, and then eventually there's no support under it, and it gives under its own weight and snaps it snaps towards that direction, right? So then you would see like the fracturing on one side and the axe cutting on the other side. So thinking about that would be really good. The other thing is the sculpting that you did on the handle of this axe feels a little bit like you were limiting yourself based off the model that you had brought in. So you can still see like the lower poly geometry here. Let's see if we can just like go in here. Right. So if we go in and we look at this a little closer, you can see it's like, okay, this was, can I just, there we go. You can see it was geometry, right? And then maybe it was like this. And then you were able to smooth this area out a little bit, but these edges kind of retain themselves. And I think maybe even this curve is a little extreme. So it draws attention when you don't really want it to. No problem, Laura. Oh, Shiro's messaging you. I'm like, yeah, cool. Shiro's a nerd. I love it. I mean, we could maybe, if I just paint over the top of this really fast, which is black to kind of, because I think you just need to get that curve out so it's not so extreme. You see how like now it's not as sharp. You're losing these corner points, which brings it to a more realistic, a kind of more realistic shape. Oh man, this is that bug again. I think this is because I'm using a tablet and then I switched to a mouse, and it doesn't know that I switched back to a mouse. But do you see how much of a difference that's making? So keep that in mind with when you start with a base mesh that's modeled and then sculpt on top of that. Make sure to really like smash the hard edges of that model out in the ZBrush sculpt quite early, if possible. Yeah, tree stump looks all right. It is just running into that problem I was talking about with this edge here and the center feeling a little strange. Just remember it was chopped down with an axe. This close-up shot feels really nice. It could use maybe some discoloring where this is connected with the wood, or maybe some glue that's in there. And then just looking at the trunk a little closer as to like how it became what it is, like how it was chopped down. And you're good. And you're good. All right, let's Lee Smith. Let's check out your stuff here. Couple of whip shots on my MP34. I'm currently working on any feedback. Any feedback is much appreciated. Thanks. This looks pretty good. The angle of the grain might be of issue. I'm not a weapons artist, so keep that in mind. The second angle you posted, I actually really like this direction just because you can see like the clip coming out of the side there, or the magazine rather. Oh, Paul, you should link that. Karen Stanley has excellent commentary on a cause and effect in her tutorials, making things look how they should look depending on what put them there. Whoa, Shiro's dropping crazy knowledge. I'm going to say this in the stream just because it's quite interesting. The exact measure would be 2 times step height and 1 time the width. Let's see here. 1 time the width of the step. So i.e. 18 plus 18 plus 27. It should always be around 63 centimeters. That's how it's correctly calculated. And then goes on to say 63 centimeters is also the average step a human takes. That's where the 63 centimeters is coming from. Just an additional unnecessary information. Oh, that's amazing. Composition in game worlds with Karen Stanley, an XP tutorial from Experience Points. That's the link. So I think right now it's pretty clean, and the dirtiness that you have going on the metal kind of feels more like dust. I think watching closely with the reference that you have on this weapon, really paying attention to like how those details are connected, like the wood to the metal. I'm going to see if I can just find some images on it really fast here. Just more settings, tools, high res, large, please. All right, this might do the trick. Whoa, this is not doing the trick. Open image, a new tab, please. There we go. Okay. Well, that's not helping me much at all. So you can see even this aged surface, it's like looking at your roughness value for your metal so that you get that nice highlight along the edge, and getting that breakup to be more subtle, I think is how you're going to get those details. Did I just get 5K followers? What's happening? Oh. Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. Did I really get... Oh, okay. We'll look at that later. Hooray! You guys are the dopes. So also look at the saturation of the wood material. It looks like you're definitely looking at reference, because these harder edges, you see that the wood gets a little bit darker or more saturated and lower in value. So you're definitely looking at reference. So it's just a matter of really kind of understanding what you're trying to connect here with the materials. I'm like, can I just please? You can see how light your material is here versus like what's happening here. And I think that's in the roughness is where that's happening. Your albedo should be pretty subtle and very samey in the value. Dude, that's crazy. 5K, what the heck? The core of this as well, I would watch for, see how light the core is inside here right now, the barrel. It should probably be much darker, judging by the references that I'm looking at. Yeah, so it's just looking at the material that you have for your metal and your wood is going to be really important. And right now it's not hitting it yet, but I think it's going to get there. Keep those things in mind. Quentin Quentin is posting, here's my latest project. I'd love to know what you think. Worked on the lighting and composition. Oh, yes. So we looked at this. Didn't we look at this? Or no, I commented on it in the Discord. Nancy, what's up? How you doing? I mean, overall, this is really cool. Oh, that light angle's quite cool. Oh, that's a nice addition with the light on the cross in here. Dang, I still think this one's my favorite. The rock shapes here really are busy to me. It looks like you did try and break it up from the comments I was making before. Let me see if I can copy this image, bring it in here. Oh no, we have a new. There we go. See, I know that you want the scene quite dark, right? It definitely has Skyrim vibes, but I think when you bring it up like this, it still feels like it's in shadow, right? But you're seeing more. You're seeing much more of the scene. And it still has the same kind of mood to it. The rocks over here seem to be giving me more of a rest on my eyes, whereas over here it's very busy. I'm just gonna do this and see how this works. Who knows? It probably won't. Let's let's try. Of course, it looks the same as this side, but you can see how much easier it is on the ice. And then you're not focusing it on it the same way that you are the rest of the scene. If you did need to, let me see, because I do see where you're coming from with like trying to break it up a little bit. Even that, like, look at the. See, even that. So the size of the shapes. Let's do a sketch here on top here. Size consistency, yes. So if you look at a shape like this, right? These are the shapes you're seeing. Oh, we're getting into the fallacies. And then if you turn this one off, now all the shapes are much smaller, right? So the consistency of the shape language is different. And it's very even as well, right? So by getting rid of that, let's turn this on. Now you're starting to get much more of the consistent shape language happening, size-wise at least. Yeah, so see, those look much more consistent, right? It's much easier for me to describe this stuff than through Discord. Maybe I should just start recording when I do feedback on stuff in the Discord. I'll just do a quick video. But yeah, I think this one's my favorite out of all of these. I mean, if I turn this off and let's just merge that down. Let's get in here and take a peek. There's something weird going on here. What's this? This thing. I feel strange. Anyways, when I look at this, I like it quite a bit. And I think when I brought up the value, you're seeing it's like it's so muted, but then bringing it up, it's like helps quite a bit. But yeah, super nice. I wonder where, okay, the lighting's coming from this side. You're not really getting that on the trees so much, right? Let's see if I can. Yeah, because I feel like the trees should be getting hit by that more as well. Something similar, at least. Ooh. Don't want to highlight the background too much. But yeah, it just feels like the trees are unaffected by the same lighting that's kind of hitting the structure. Just keep that in mind. Anyways, super nice. Yeah, LUT files are, oh, you made the LUT and resolve as well. That's cool. LUT files are tricky. All right, Martin, I would love to get some feedback on this environment. I made this for this year's Dintober. Oh, yes. So let me open it twice here. I'm going to just drag this onto my other screen so I can see the value difference. I think my screen, one of my screens is too bright. I think that's what's going on. Because if I look at this one, right, it's quite, it feels quite dark to me. And when I look at it in the histogram in Photoshop, it's telling me I'm right, that it's quite dark. You don't want to blow out your lights, but you do want to bring up that mid range. Hey, no problem, dude. I didn't know that Slime Key was let's see here. Was Quentin? Is that you? So there's some stuff to look at here for sure. Getting that extra layer of detail. I'm gonna use like a color that we can see. There we go. So thinking about the detail that's down here for maybe like the dripping of like the metal as it, because it's contacting the wall, right? This light source is out here, but the point light feels like it's right here. So you probably need to raise it up a little bit. Are you, it looks like there's a light on the inside here, but there's not, like you probably what I would do is if you want it to be quite bright in here, you could place a light inside, like I think you have, and then you could place maybe like a box light here that's casting this way. And then I don't know if on Unreal you can put a shadow map on a box light. Do you guys know? So shadow, I forget what it's like the light profile. So basically you get the shapes of the lantern in shadow form on the wall. IES, thanks Kat. Thank you. So if you can't do it with a box light, then I would do a spotlight here, right? And then if you paint like a really soft, so close, Muck, so close. If you paint like a soft, kind of blurry version of what you're seeing for the frame of this, you can get some nice break up there, right? Because you can see it looks like it's like this, and then there's edges here, so you could assume that it's something like, oops, it's something like let's just overdo it, right? We'll just overdo it. So let's say that the box light is doing this, right, for one of the frames. And then we'll just take that and we'll filter and we'll blur it. And this still looks really ridiculous, right? And we'll multiply. But see, doing that is really going to help like break up this look of a spotlight, or like this really kind of clean light that's hitting the wall. Yeah, so you do a IES can be used on rectangular lights. Oh, okay, cool. Good deal. But yeah, that'll help a lot with making these not feel so strange. Also keep in mind the dripping like I was talking about here, any types of interactions with surfaces, you're going to want to expect something there, right? Something to be dripping down. I guess we could do it on this one with like a... this is not the right brush to be doing it with. Yeah, something like that. You can also, I mean, depending on like how dirty you want this stuff to get, right? You can kind of, it works wonders like grounding things. You could use that, you could do it with a decal as well. It doesn't need to be like painted on the wall, or like it can be projected. It could be a mesh decal. You just want that breakup on the wall just to connect things. Other than that, I mean, I think there's some things where you might want to take a little bit of liberty with the brightness of this stuff here, just to get some of these shapes to pop a little bit more. It's a little blowout there, but and then these ones in the back are super bright. Like I would probably just, I'd probably just get rid of those actually. I'm like, can I just paint them out? I know you want it for the reflections, but you can see the reflections in the window, and maybe you could do some lights inside of here, and that's how you can kind of get away with what's happening. Because see, then you could do it there. Whoop. So you could do stuff like that. Of course, that's a little thin, but, or like lights that are casting in like this space here. Let's see if I can shadows. So you get light casting here, and then shift that more towards like a, maybe similar to the color there. We just colorize it. Can I just see that? Come on. Can you just let me undo? Because then if you have lighting like that, you could then put that in the shadows or in your reflections, right? You're going to get a much nicer reflection. I think that's natural. Other than that, you can see there's a warm value. There's a lot of stuff I can mention in here. Not that because it's bad, but there's like a lot of things that you can point out to just make it stronger. So you can see like up here, I don't know how you would pull this off because working with this type of color for the wall is very difficult to get it to be a different color, right? So I would suggest actually removing a lot of the warmth from the walls and allowing the lighting to be the thing that's warming the walls up, right? Because then the walls would be much more desaturated up here, and then you could actually use the color of the sky to have the color from this part of the building, right? So from this part up, it could be gradient towards the color of the sky, whereas like as it goes further down, it becomes more warm with the lighting of the environment through the actual lights themselves. So just keep that type of stuff in mind. The scene came out pretty well. I did not see the references that you were pulling from to work on this, but let me just double check and scroll through here. Because there's some nice stuff in here. It's just watching out for these lights they feel very placed, right? Versus naturally happening through the lights. Naturally happening man-made light sources. That sounds so wrong. But it's very artificial the way that the light is hitting the building surface. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Ooh, this is a cool shot. Man, those cracks are kind of scary. Oh, I didn't see this. This is cool that you're doing this breakdown and stuff, though. It's nice. Wow, I don't even see those in the scene. Oh, there it is. It's in that hallway. Okay. This is a really cool shot. I like that. Dirk, what's up, man? How you doing? Anyways, let's keep pushing on. Emmanuel, looks like you found the server and have posted your work in here, so we're getting to your stuff now. Super cool. Thank you for joining. No problem, Martin. Let's check it out. I'm not sure the dwarven floating market. What is that? Of Hangam Azal? Is that? I'm probably saying that wrong. It's a final MA art, game art personal project. Oh, Escape Studio as well. Nice. Let's take a peek. He's got the serious slow walk going on. Wait, what's happening here? Is that a large ship flying through the sky? Oh, it is. That's cool. What? That's crazy. So with the shadows coming from that ship, if there's a way to diffuse those shadows, say it like a dwarf. No, I can't do it, man. Come on. Come on, man. Oh, this looks pretty cool, man. I think having the character here and you like walking through the space, I guess it's probably part of the requirement of like what you're building here. But I think once the camera breaks away from the character, you get a much stronger feeling of the scene. Dude, look at this tree. That is freaking sick, man. There's some, like the edge details that are on there feel a little strange. They're maybe toned back a little bit. That might help. Are they supposed to be glowing? I don't know much of the, I don't know if this is like lore heavy or like what's going on here. Oh, dude. Nice. You like the grandness of the scene? Yep, they're glowing. All right. So I guess to really push that glow, if there was a way to have the glow kind of change, like oscillate and become brighter and darker, maybe in like with cloud, like a cloud mask or something. It's a really cool scene though. Just it doesn't really come off as it's glowing. So maybe if there was even a gradient, right? So that might help. These rocks that are these stone pieces here, this crystal or whatever that is, man, that's super cool. This looks cool too. Is that hexagonal like rock material? Forget what they're called. Stepping stones, basalt columns. Indirect light, maybe. Yeah, Perlin, maybe like a Perlin noise panning through the veins. That could be pretty handy. Or like, man, this scene would look so good at night with the little like market here or this like little courtyard area. And like the tree is like where most of the kind of cold blue lighting is coming from. Yeah, or like a sine wave function. Something to going through that just to let you know it's kind of ethereal or glowing would be really good. But let's scroll through here some more. It took me 14 weeks to complete. I chose to present a level based on fantasy story I wrote. There I describe a floating dwarven city where travelers come from afar to attend the local market. I focused on creating environments that wasn't just visually stunning, but also performance that allow it to run on console. It's super nice. In the next few weeks, I'll publish a breakdown of the scene. Dude, very nice. Your fabric materials look pretty good. These shapes are very dwarven as well, so nice job on that. Man, the amount of dwarven stuff I had to look at. I worked on Lord of the Rings games for like 4 years and had my fair share of dwarven stuff I had to work on. Oh, wow, look at all this detail. This is super cool. It's nice to see this much color as well. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel like you're not really showing this stuff enough. So when you work on bigger stuff like this, there's some things to highlight. Let's get in here. So there's details like this, right? So this texture looks like it might be a little stretched. So that's maybe like the first thing. But when it comes to like where this edge is, and it's here as well, right? And here and here. This is an opportunity for you to have like maybe a second UV set and pack all of this into a 0 to 1 on your UV2 or something like that. And really just kind of go in and texture in something to kind of show an interaction between surface 1 and surface 2, right? And with this being metal, I think that's metal. It's not really coming through as metal right now. If it is indeed metal, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's important to hit on those things. Dang, look at back there. So dwarven. This is cool, man. I wish I could see like the metalness buffer in here, because I think that's where it's lacking right now, is it doesn't have the metal where I'm expecting it, and it would really push it towards that dwarven pass, or the dwarven style architecture. I mean, I'm seeing it here. This looks like metal. This detail too is really nice. It's just making sure that it's consistently like right now it's happening throughout, and it's making sure that maybe it piles up in the corners, right? And then maybe occasionally it makes itself present and then peters out a little bit, like kind of like you have going on here. Because if it's everywhere, then it doesn't really, it just becomes noise, right? It's the same with this type of rock. It becomes very difficult to look at what's there when it's all just this detail happening. This is nice, man. There's some nice stuff in here. Overall, really, really cool. I think if you turn your atmosphere up a little bit, that would help a lot. Just for separation's sake. So let's look at what's going on with the saturation, just to maybe might be too saturated. It's getting into some World of Warcraft saturation levels. You know, watch out for that. Unless that's what you would like. But let's do this. Then maybe like let's colorize it. And I'll dupe this again. Lower it. I'm trying to get a fog color, but still have the color of the buildings in there. And then create a mask. And then it's really about separating out. I'll go broad stroke really fast here. And then we'll go in and push some of this stuff back. There we go. Because see, now your tree really pops out, right? Especially if you bring this all like that. Maybe we'll lower the opacity to like 50 and we'll push this back 50%. But yeah, you can see how much that's doing by just pushing that back. Oh, this is bugging me now. You still want the warm color to come through a little bit. But yeah, I think this would do a lot. Let me see if duping this. Push this even further. And then taking those elements that are way up there and pushing them even further back. So you really feel like there's some separation. And then we probably need to erase that just ever so slightly, so there's not a weird edge on there. But yeah, I think you get the point. That does so much for separating the elements and really kind of making your scene that much larger. Hey man, I have an off-topic question. What should I be learning in Photoshop? What should we learn in Photoshop? People always tell me to learn Photoshop, but never exactly what. I mean, it's such a broad software. It really is. It really is a broad software. That is a great question. I think it's more about masking and filtering and layers, action scripts, and let me think here, and understanding, being able to control how you export out stacked layers and being able to affect your alpha and your texture and all that stuff. It's more texture manipulation than anything. You might be running into some weirdness on this particular shot due to the blue and the trees and how it could be lining up with the perspective of the building on the left. Yeah. I mean, it's nice that there's a contrast between the two, so that helps quite a bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, I didn't put too much atmosphere on separating this part out. It's just a little bit. But I think it gets the idea across. This, of course, it looks kind of funky up there. But yeah, you just want to get that depth, right? Anyways, we should move on forward here to get some more of you guys some feedback before the stream ends. We got 30 minutes, so we got Nicholas would love some critique on the texture and modeling. Not the final render yet. Let's check it out. Oh, nice. Using your blog. This is great. Oh, buddy. Okay, let's grab some. Let's grab some shots. So this is pretty cool. This looks pretty awesome. The UI elements seem to be very colorful when I think, how would I say that? They seem to be very colorful when I imagine it's going to be more along the lines of like a single tone type screen. So these types of details maybe would change. Let's just dupe it, and if we just colorize, make it more of that blue. Oop, no, we don't need to do that. Let's contrast it a bit as well. We'll just make a mask, invert it. I'll just show you what I mean here. So just getting rid of those colors and making it more about what you expect the UI to be. Oh man, what is? Okay, maybe I should match it to that blue. There we go. So this seems a little bit more accurate for just the elements that you're seeing in the UI. So you're not being distracted by that, and it's more of the details that are present to support what you're showing. Uh, the damage is pretty extreme. There's some serious scrape marks that I expect maybe like these ones here wouldn't really be present. Oops. So like these scratch marks here is kind of strange, especially here. It looks more like a bug than a design for how the scratches occurred. The other thing I would really have you look into, man, this spot right here looks awesome. But think about like, okay, if for that damage to be happening there, they need to be getting hit from like the side, backside, like coming this way to get that type of damage there. And it's very consistent damage. You got to watch out for like, you want to think directional, right? So if we go, whoops. Wait a minute. This isn't right. There we go. Yeah, this is a good photo for it. So we zoom in on here. So think about the damage happening more instead of on the sides here. We'll Photoshop our way through it. I'm just gonna remove this stuff here. And then we'll get rid of some of this on the side here as well. You're going to want this damage to be more along the lines of coming from the front, right? This is where all the damage is occurring, I believe. So getting more directional scraping and damage coming across that way, I think is going to be more beneficial to the overall visual that you're going for. I think that's, get those little highlights in there too. But yeah. When it comes to damage, you really got to think about how it's happening, right? You're copying the exact board of the game. So see, now you're limiting yourself. If you do it like that, you're just limiting yourself to what they've done previously, which they probably didn't have the capability to be detailing it like that previously. If you're looking at the really old stuff, right? Some of their newer stuff, if they're going this extreme, I don't know, man. That's sounds like they were like generating the damage instead of doing it manually. Maybe to save time and whatnot. But yeah, it's all about them logics with the scratches and these types of details. So you wanna see where it's happening and then understanding. Cause like this front here, man, this should just be freaking. If there's this much scrapage going on, this is like. This should almost be scraped back completely. And just crazy the amount of damage that's going on here. He said that in reference to the dashboard. Oh, I see. Thanks, Dinkle. I love that name. That's good to know. It's good to know. The material here feels pretty nice, and I like this as well. I mean, everything looks pretty good on this. I really like this green also, and how it kind of like becomes darker as it goes down the side. Oh, Real Far is making a comment on Photoshop as well. As an environment artist, you probably mostly use Photoshop for creating, editing textures, and doing paint overs for critiques and planning, kind of what Din is doing right now. In both cases, learning how masks work as well as how to leverage layer blend modes. Yep. Other than that, you'll need to know the basic functions of the tools in the bar to the left. Seems pretty spot on. Pretty spot on. Thanks, Real Far. Anyways, this vehicle is looking really cool, man. It's just making sure that maybe that it doesn't hit you too hard with details all the time, right? Man, I keep going back to the, there we go. I really like the attention to detail with the underside here, and like the shocks being that different color as well, and having the fuel on the back being quite red also looks really cool. That might be too saturated, but yeah, super cool. It's really nice, man. Make sure that you're okay. Land. Hi, would you be so kind and review my portfolio? So I can't do a portfolio review, Land, but I can grab like something out of here. 3D artist, 4A games. Oh yeah, 4A. Cool. So I'm no weapons artist, but that looks pretty cool. There's a lot of these like larger details happening here. Is it supposed to be like that? Dang, that looks cool though. I think getting some material separation is going to be important. Tanks a lot then. No problem, man. So I like that this feels, roughness wise, this feels different than the rest of the gun. I feel like maybe the grip could be a different roughness to the, I guess the whole bottom half of the pistol is different than the top part, right? So that's pretty nice. Yeah, I'm seeing it now, especially in this angle. So I don't know if you're using a detail normal. XD, good brand. XD Stone, what's up, man? This is a Croatian gun made for Springfield. Oh, really? So this detail, this is something I've been commenting on a couple times now when I see guns, and I have no idea how guns are, like how you guys are authoring these. This detail here, this looks like a detail normal, right? Say this is a detail normal. I would love to see a mask painted that changes the strength of that detail normal based on where the surface wears. So, because like that detail is going to wear down and smooth out, right? So if you could paint where the hand grabs the pistol all the time and just paint that area and then really kind of blur it and soften it out, you could take that noise and really smooth it out just a little bit more than the rest. And that's like that subtle detail that your subconscious picks up on that draws you in and goes, oh, why does this look so real? I don't understand why it feels right. Where you handle the handle. You know what I'm saying, Muck? You know what I'm saying. All the details on the main texture. Dang, what is this, a 4K? Yes, it is. My God. Yeah, man. Dude, that's crazy. I like your lighting. Some nice, cool lighting on the side here. I would suggest maybe adding a warmer light somewhere over here just to kind of get that contrast. Nice work on the seams. Just for how it's created. Man, these bevels are really freaking nice. I mean, it looks really good. Oh my God, in motion. Yo. Do you have it fade in and fade out with this? With this video? Or this is a GIF, right? Because you could have the GIF go twice as long where you just like, you make that tilt and then you reverse it. You want an ArtStation link? Of course. There you go. Because like, yeah, it is a GIF. Instead of having it fade, if you have it like stop and then go back and just stop, go back, stop, go back, you get this nice, like, you never break eye contact with the detail that you're looking at. Yeah, super cool, man. That's not even that crazy for like what the details that you're trying to push. And you're baking out where I would expect you to be baking. Super nice. Yeah, this is super detailed right here, mainly because you're seeing it in the silhouette, right? Man, you could bake that out, though. I think you don't even have to see that. Because the profile, the silhouette doesn't change all that much. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday. Let's make sure to get you that community tag there. Land it. So it's not open right now, I don't think, unless I forgot to close it. You can sign up for portfolio reviews there, actually. The next time that opens will be on the date of the next portfolio reviews. So if you look in there, you should be able to see when it opens up again. ADI, Dwarven Battle Axe, let's go. Dang, Shokri, that's freaking... It's really changed everything, hasn't it? So this looks really cool. I like it. The pattern is interesting. I really like the symbol here. The wear of the pattern on the side here feels strange to me. Oi, chump. That's freaking gold. Oh, man. So what I would suggest on this one is right now, I think what's hindering it from looking really good is the lighting. The lighting is it's a little better here. The lighting is very one colored, right? If you could get like a 2-point lighting setup in here, or maybe a 3-point to get that like nice rim light on the edge there, you could really make this axe pop. The only other thing I would suggest is the pattern that you're showing on the axe feels very like quickly done. It kind of feels like I went into Photoshop and like made a pattern and then just masked it on. If it wasn't lifted so much and it was more integrated into the surface itself, and then you could see the seams of it, and then it ends instead of being worn away, or it's polished into the surface, I think that would look really good. I mean, other than that, I think maybe the wraps here, maybe supporting it with some extra geometry would be good. Let me see here. So like when you zoom in here, right? I'll just paint the background to make it work. So if you had this type of action going on, right? All of a sudden it just has that much more depth to it. Like you can see. Dang it. You guys can't hear it, but I'm listening to some freaking crazy music right now. I feel like I'm in some different world. Let's warp this. No. It's like this isn't working at all. Fail. Fail, guys. You basically getting more shape to this would be really nice. Just so it feels like it's wrapping on itself. Blasting that satanic death metal and getting lost in it. I just start like, what's happening? General question. I have noticed in many portfolios that UVs and wireframes are not being shown. Do game studios look at that overall? Do game studios look just at the overall composition and storytelling in portfolios and then test the applicant for the art? No, not necessarily. It all depends on if it's a props. If you're like applying for a prop artist position, right? They're gonna want to see those wireframes. They're gonna want to see how you're dealing with your UVs, and if you're stacking UVs that are duplicates, if you're mirroring your UVs to get more texture space. Those are really important if you're a props artist. Now, if you're building scenes, I think they're going to be more interested in looking at the overall composition, lighting, the scene itself, and then maybe like a vertical slice of the assets that you built that are in there. Exile, I'll get some eyeliner for you. I actually look pretty good with some eyeliner on, I'll tell you what. I did it once for Halloween, and then I liked it enough that I contemplated keeping it. Didn't do it though. But yeah, I think that's my feedback for the axe. Let's see here. We got Dylan. What's the frequency of these types of Discord critique streams? Would love to participate again. I announce them usually in the stream prior, but it's maybe like every 3 to 4 weeks on Thursdays. If you follow like all of these, all of the links in there, like if you have Twitter or whatever, you follow me there, you'll see when I announce what I'm going to be streaming on. Dylan J, let's go. Hiya, would love to hear your thoughts on this blockout I'm working on for this tavern challenge this month. Yeah, let's go. I think I'm going to start doing more feedback in the server as well. If I'm sitting down and I'm like, all right, well, I'm not streaming, but I'm going to critique some people's stuff, maybe I'll just start recording myself when I critique someone's stuff and post it in there and tag you with it. So being active in the Discord as well in the critiques is going to be really good. We'll see, though. I have to have free time sometime, right? Makes sense. Okay, so blockout wise, this looks pretty cool. You've got a fence going on here. The fence doesn't really continue right now. So let's say that the fence is here, here, and here. And then you have the building, right? Oh, yeah, look at these drawing skills. Yeah. And then you got a tree here. And let's just highlight the silhouette of the terrain currently. So what we need to do is in your block out, I would say this is looking pretty good, but you have to think about your overall composition. And right now what you've got going on is essentially you've got a split like this, right? And if the focus is here, I would do something over here in order to kind of bring the focus here. Right? So it could be a number of things. Maybe you make the road path area narrower, and then you can put maybe a tree up close and some branches to just kind of like frame it up a little bit more. You could take this tree, maybe bring it closer so there's some more branches here. And just think about like getting the focus to be there. I think that's where your focus is, right? You can also use clouds in order to do that as well. I'm not sure, depending on what's supposed to be out here. Because right now I'm not sure what this area is over here. But think about the logic of where the fences are, where the road is, lighting, like if there's lights on the road. Shiro, what are you doing, man? Thanks a lot, man. Dude, gifting 3. Yet again, Shiro strikes. Thanks a lot, dude. If you're on the Discord, don't forget to attach your Twitch. Jesus, attach your Twitch to your Discord, because then you'll get into our sub chat channel, which is mainly pet pictures. Lots of cat photos today, actually, which usually it's dogs and stuff like that, but people just sharing their personal lives in there. It's pretty cool. But yeah, figuring out what's back here is going to be pretty important. There's a tree behind the building. Maybe there's a tree here. Yeah, a tree. We'll add another one here so we're outside of the danger zone. But yeah, I think that's what I think about your composition. I think that's what I think. Some supporting buildings might be a good idea. Yeah, maybe if there's like a little building here, or maybe there's another one in the back over here. Maybe instead of these trees, it's a building or something small. Maybe you bring the ground up a little bit, and then like it's a building where like all the horses go. stable. Anyways, hopefully that was enough feedback on your early your block out so far. Pretty cool, Dylan. Pretty cool. Johannes, just finished this one. Any changes you see fit? Let's check it out. Hey, no problem, dude. Oh, this feels pretty nice, man. Oh, the water feels much better. So you can see early on the block out, maybe right around, let's see here, maybe right around here. It's very clear what you're looking at, right? And the focus is definitely here. But then these shadows come in and kind of mask the rocks out, and it masks this a little bit. You're still getting a pretty good shine on the rune or like relic thing there. It's still. See, I think once you brought the foliage in, it really started to mask what you're seeing. It has lots of tweaks going on in there. Man, I love the water. That's so cool looking. I like what you did with the silhouette as well, with the trunk going across here. Really interesting. In the how you're using atmosphere to push all the trees back, that's really nice. Oh, this is cool. This is actually really nice to show the like how you placed your lighting in order to get the look you were going for. I feel like the final result, like nice use of the light rays. They're very okay, let me just bring this over here really fast. So it's very dark in the shadows. It's not too bad on the. See, I almost like that this blows out. Almost blows out. But just to highlight a few things, you'll probably not be able to unsee this now. Let's do this. Those light rays are almost perfectly separated from each other, the same distance. So watch out for those. I really wish that all of this was more in light. If maybe the light went about that far, and you see all of this detail, right? I like seeing this rock as well. It just felt like there was this whole centerpiece here, and that's kind of lost in with how the lighting is currently. Let me see if I can just. This sounds crazy. I don't know what I'm. Why am I even gonna attempt this? I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna remove these light rays manually. So if you get more of the grass kind of coming out here, right? And then you get the rocks popping out more. My computer's mad at me. And then the light rays are probably more. Let's do this. Let's do that in a duplicate. We'll screen it, and then I'll invert this. We'll paint a really simple light ray. Let's say that. So we got a ray there. Instead of having them coming from like the same angle like this, having them slightly tilted from the light or from the origin of the last piece. So we got this one here, this one, and then this one maybe cutting across. Let's blur that as well. We'll really blur that. And then we'll tone it down. Because what you want those light rays to do is you don't want them to be noticed, but you want them to kind of break up the shot, right? Give those little highlights. I wonder if I could just like shift the, yeah, something like that. Anyways, I think by doing that, it becomes more subtle. The other thing is I really want to see more of this stuff here, even if it's just really light. You're just not really seeing much of it. Oh, look, see, I didn't even know there were flowers there. Man, this screen is really dark. It's a shame I put all this green in here. But yeah, some birds, some burbs. Yeah, I like it. Some burbs or a deer in the background. That would be pretty cool. Just like one looking up, looking at you. What's going on? What's going on over there? Is that a cameraman? Yeah, definitely some wildlife silhouettes would be cool. Anyways, this is the end result's pretty nice. It's just some small little feedback stuff that I could drop in there. Oh man. We're at 2. Okay. We got people typing. I'm going to close it. I'm sorry. You cannot send messages, but you can still see it. But we've got 2 more we can look at, and then I'll end the stream. All right. Oh, dang. Look at this. Man, this brings back some memories. So the edges are a little sharp on the geometry. You could definitely increase the poly count around this rounded edges here. Let's open this up and whoop. Hang on here. Where are we at? You might put wildlife in there? Dude, nice. Okay. So geometry-wise, you could definitely, like if we zoom in here and we just look at this, you have like one edge here, right? Well, it's a couple edges because of these cuts. This, I would pay for a bevel here. So bevel that edge and then wipe out these guys because they're not doing anything for the shape of this, and you're just paying for that extra geometry, right? Same with these. Those can all go. And you're like, but where do they go? They go here and here, right? And this corner and this corner. So just as an example, we're using this one. So it can do this, right? Maybe by this point. The other thing I got to say though, maybe, no, hang on. Where are this whole, okay, all of this should be cut. Like you don't need any of that geometry because it's not doing anything for you, right? You might as well pay for the bevels along the edge here. If we use a consistent color. Bevel these edges so that you get a not as sharp edge, right? You can see, I can see you've beveled it here as well, but those bevels are really small. And when you look at it in here, you don't pick up on that bevel, I don't think. Let me see here. The other thing is right now it seems to be really missing a roughness pass. I mean, I know it's there, but it's not getting that highlight that you're expecting. If I copy this image and bring it over here and we level this out, you can see you're missing all of your highlight range, right? This spike here is actually because of the brightness of this and the cartridges. the print on the cartridges. You can see now you're getting a little bit more information in there. Man, there's even some scratches and stuff in there. Yeah, keep that in mind. You can see the difference is quite a lot actually, with just shifting those values. So I'd look at your materials and remove any geometry that's not really adding to the silhouette or shape change of the model. If it's not doing anything, it shouldn't be there, right? Because you're paying for stuff that's not helping you. These buttons feel really large as well, so I would maybe pay attention to those and double check on the scale of that. Other than that, I mean, these cartridges look pretty cool. Man, I don't remember that color thing there though. So strange. There's also a lot of geometry in here that you don't really need. Oh yeah, and Exile dude snuck in that little comment before it got locked. Sandy, let's get to you and then we'll end the stream here. So, Sandy, this looks pretty cool. I like it. Hi, this is work in progress. I'm concerned with the colors overall for the car and background and lighting. Thank you. Okay, so I think it's because, I mean, the colors feel pretty good to me. Let's look here. I think what's throwing you off is the background, like you're saying. So let's just copy it. We'll make the background the same color. Then we'll go in and let's just grab that and delete it. Let's just make sure we're grabbing all of it. Oh, we don't need to worry about the other areas. It's mainly the bottom I want to have access to. Just paint. Let's get a super soft brush here. And let's just eyedrop one of these colors here. So I think by grounding it, you're going to get more out of like what you're trying to do here, I think. Right? And of course, my quick masking does not look very good. But by grounding it, putting it on the ground, it feels much more in place. The other thing is compositionally, it's very low, so you're not really seeing all of the details here. Let's just erase this, kind of bring this forward. Something like that. Anyways, so now our shadows are a little bit more, it's kind of like you're getting some ambient stuff going on here. So you can see how much that adds to. Just get rid of the extra stuff in the back there. You can see how much that adds to it, right? It grounds it. Now, your colors, I actually like quite a bit. I think you could play with. So if I just dupe this layer up here, let's sample a few colors. So you're kind of playing with these colors, right? Let's grab the seat color too. You could, let's grab this. Oh, is this even going to work? Nope, it is not. All right, cool. Let's just dupe it. We'll mask. Let's do a shift really fast so we can see what we're working with. Let's go fast on this so I can focus on the part that actually matters, which is the work. So this is another thing that's, I guess, is good about learning Photoshop, because you guys were talking about like, what should I learn with Photoshop? And it's more about being able to rapidly affect existing imagery in order to try and like get a better understanding of what you're trying to build here. So now that I've masked this all out, right? Oh, it's kind of janky over here. Now that I've masked all that out, we can actually go in and start color matching. Like maybe the top needs to be more, maybe more yellow. Maybe we colorize it so that we can shift it around. So then you can try some other colors here. Maybe it should be the color of the seats. Maybe it's more like this. Maybe it shouldn't be as saturated. Maybe it's the same color as the plate there, right? That's kind of cool. So that gives you some ideas as to like how you can iterate on the idea or what you already have. And I mean, now that I have that color, maybe I can, let's see. This is probably a bad idea, but it emphasizes how much control you have once you've made your masks, right? Yeah, see, that's not a good idea. But I think this emphasizes some of the adjustments you could do. But the overall design of it, I actually like quite a bit. You are doing some soft highlights on the edges here, and I'm not really seeing that in the wood material. So keep that in mind. Maybe it's maybe midtones, and we just do this really fast. So maybe the tops of the wood material are like that, and then so that kind of brings it more in line with what the rest of the materials are doing. So it's consistency in the way that you're creating your surfaces. But it's pretty cool. I like it. Really cool design. And that's it for us, guys. That's all the critiques. It's isometric. It does feel isometric, which I think is all right. It's either isometric or the FOV is really kind of pushed, right? Or flattened out, rather. A more dynamic angle? Maybe. I mean, I like the render of it. I think it's fine. What's the wood material that I think you want to look for? Anyways, let's pop over.